Recently, I've been on the hunt for a brand new competitive shooter, and while the market's full of them with games like Apex Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, Rainbow Six, and COD, somehow I wound up playing a Valve game many of you are familiar with. CS2 is the updated or overhauled version of the much loved and globally played CSGO. It is an intense game that keeps things simple. CS, unlike its competitors, which are opting for the hero shooter subgenre of FPS games, strive for a much more grounded approach. With no real individuality amongst the two teams competing with one another, it drives the narrative that the many united is stronger than the strong divided. Yet this game has been like this for a while, actually since the very birth of the CS franchise. CS, or Counter-Strike, started as a mod from Valve's very own Half-Life game. Original creators Min Guzman Lee and Jess Cliff created the mod as a project to get under their portfolio for future job acquisitions. What they accomplished to make was a simple yet extremely addictive and satisfying game loop that is the foundation for most of our favorite modern games, introducing a teamwork-centric 5v5 formula in addition to a bomb-oriented game mode and aided by competitive-driven map design. It was the very origin for modern bomb defusal game modes like Valorant, Siege, and COD Search and Destroy. Sometime into Counter-Strike's life, Valve acquired the rights to the mod's intellectual property and produced Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Years into the success of CSGO, CS2 came out, and here we fast forward to the present day. CS2, just like CSGO, is an updated, refreshed, and slightly more modern take on CS, with enhanced visual fidelity, animations, reworked utility, as well as reworked maps, followed by a lot of quality of life improvements. In my endeavor to learn CS2, I recruited my friend Ryan, and we started with the usual. And if you're a returning viewer, you might know that I've played a bit of Valorant before, and have a few hours of CSGO, but I don't consider any of them to count. 1, because I was 9 years old, and 2, because I wasn't sentient until I was like 16 years old. So I think the notion of being a new player is not a stretch from reality, as the time I spent learning the game was non-existent. So, as per beginning any new game, I started with creating crosshairs, finding my sensitivity, making sure I was comfortable with my keybinds, and warmed up with the guns I thought I needed to know. Those being the AK-47, the M4A1, the AWP, and all the pistols I could get my hands on. After we played our first handful of casual matches, we started to realize how much easier it felt. I don't know how to say this without sounding egotistical or anything, but CS2 was a way more seamless transition than Valorant was from whatever I was playing at the time. They are much of the same in terms of base gameplay, and yet somehow CS's implementation of recoil feels much smoother, controllable, and predictable. The player base seems to be a little less aware, for the lack of a better word, at least in the casual matches, and the community was good so far. I understand that every game that features a ranked game mode has an inherent surge in toxicity, but in this case, I was fine with it. It wasn't the typical raging teammate or the one throwing just to derank. So far, everyone was much more calm and maybe even older on average than Valorant's community. But regardless of that, less people looked lost, and if they were, the game was simple enough where they know they had to kill an enemy or defuse a bomb. The very first competitive game mode we played as a duo was Wingman, and that's where we ran into our first toxic encounter, but to be honest, it wasn't that bad. We were down 1-6 and the opponent started trash talk and tell us how bad we are, and I started responding, but for some reason it wasn't demoralizing, it wasn't frustrating, it was just, I need to prove this guy wrong. Everything felt under control, and maybe it's because the game is so simple that clutching out a round where you would otherwise stand zero chance in other games was made more feasible. I had a weirdly uncomfortable level of confidence after winning the first round after the trash talking commenced. And if anything, it just sparked a flame for me I didn't know I had. See, I have a history of not playing well while frustrated or angry, and for some reason everything felt under control, and I could use that rage to tie us up and even take the game home. So much so that the enemy thought I toggled and started hacking, which was just hilarious to me. After that match, I was completely hooked. We started getting into our loadouts and trying out every single gun to see what best fits our T and CT loadouts. I bought my very first gun skin, and we played our very first ranked game. In our very first ranked game, we had a decent bunch of teammates. Some obviously more helpful than others, but all of them came with the common goal of wanting to win. They would hold themselves accountable and wouldn't blame others for no reason. There was comfort in knowing when I gave an idea, someone would respond and take action or provide feedback after coming up with an execution, hold of sight, or even losing the round. And just like that, we won our very first game. And to me, it was amazing. It was like liquid dopamine. I wanted and still want to keep playing this game. In fact, I think the game ended too quick, and we were probably there for over an hour. The very next thing I did was sell all my Team Fortress skins. I'm sorry, TF2. But I needed my Bunsen burner, and all the skins were pretty cool, I thought. And they were decently cheap, most of which were like 50 cents and above. I won't get into the rabbit hole of what the skin marketplace looks like and how guns and even knife skins go for 50 to thousands of dollars, which can all be purchased if you're into that kind of thing. All in all, CS was an inspiring experience, one that I'm going to follow up on and I'm going to invest time into. I can't wait to get placed into a rank and let you guys know what rank I am at and which I think I can achieve. CS2 is a great time for its community, to its simple design which allows for low entry but high skill ceiling, movement tricks, cross map smokes, utility you can throw, even jumping on your buddy's head just to get an angle you wouldn't otherwise know was possible. CS is simplicity in its most explorable form, and it's something more games should pursue. Clearly, the over 800,000 daily players must agree somewhere, and I do too. If you haven't played CS2 and are looking for a game to sink time into, I urge you to give CS a try. Also, I've heard that hackers are prominent in the higher ranked play, but I have yet to see that whatsoever from my personal experience. So, the game is well worth to give it a shot at least. With that being said, thank you all for watching. Peace.